We're talking about success, how to get there, how to stay there, and what that might mean for you on your journey up to the top. Let's jump in. All right, welcome back, Airbnb family. So a lot of you on the channel have asked me how I first became successful, and you want advice on how to be successful or how to be a successful person. And there are a lot of aspects to that, but I think the first thing to really define here is what is success. Because my first tip, my first big bit of advice for you is to define your own path and be successful on your own terms. So, for example, with myself, I love to learn things. I'm a curious person. I love to master, talents or hobbies. I love to share what I've learned with other people, and I want to have influence or impact. I want to make a difference on a larger scale before I die, right? So that's my version of success. So a lot of how you see that I run my businesses are based on creating a learning environment and a leveraged impact environment. So now that I own a few successful companies, I've got this YouTube channel which allows me to speak to you en masse and share with you what I know. So this is my success manifested through a channel. And so for you, you'll want to do essentially the same thing. Now, having a YouTube channel may not be your version of success. It's probably very few people's. Actually, your success might have to do with autonomy, having a family, maybe leaving behind a legacy, sharing time with the ones you love, having, just absolutely unforgettable memories, living an overall good life that way, being healthy in all aspects of your life. Finances, becoming successful financially might be something that is at the top of your list. And society will give you this sensationalized version of success, which is that achieving financial success and wealth is the epitome of success, which is actually kind of a lie. But I will tell you that if you become successful in all the other aspects of life that you care about, you're just like many other people who, when they learn to become successful in the ways that matter to them internally, they're able to become successful financially because there's a set of skills and disciplines involved with being successful, and that does carry into your finances, right? So if you want to be financially wealthy, you need to master the art of success, and it can start in a way that doesn't have to do with how much money you're putting in your pocket every day. Actually, when I was homeless in 2009, it was for me taking the risks that I needed to take in order to grow, to be able to be a successful person and to achieve my dreams. And I eventually started my first and second $1 million business even just years later after homelessness, right? So finances is not the path to success. So just dissolve that illusion first. Second, define your own terms for success and what it means for you. Really, where are your passions? Where are your curiosities? Where do you want to go in life? How do you want to die? Okay, start there. Now, next, if you're going to become successful, you're going to have to become better. So you're going to have to grow. And I recommend reading a lot, learning a lot, and that's just how I am. And you can do this through watching videos on YouTube. Here you are. You can read books, audiobooks. I love those because when I drive far distances, like between Houston and Dallas per se, or I'm on an airplane, I can learn while I sit. So learn to multitask and take that multitask time, right? That dead time while you're waiting on something else to complete, and spend that on learning. Now, interacting with people is another way to learn, just like reading a book. There's a quote that keeps sticking in the back of my mind, and it's the only difference between where you are now and where you'll be in a year are the people you meet and the books you read. So essentially, if you can't read somebody's book, meet them in person or vice versa. And collaboration and camaraderie will help you grow, which leads me to my next point. Be careful who you let influence you. Decide your circle of influence and find people who are experts in what you want to be great at, or people who can teach you the philosophies or disciplines that you need to adopt in order to become successful. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to talk to you about their philosophies, their methodologies about success or about achieving wealth, and they're going to lead with stuff like that. Like Tai Lopez, for example. I can't imagine any person I'd love to make fun of more than him. But without just pinning him only as a person that you should be wary of, there are going to be other people, even in more casual environments, that are going to tell you what it takes to be successful. And for example, friends and family will tell you what you should or should not do to become successful. But look at where they are. Right? If they are successful, if they have achieved the things in life that they care about and they are continuously growing as a person and you can look up to that person, then yes, maybe heed their advice on what to do or what not to do. But just because you like somebody or care about somebody does not make them your mentor. Okay? So decide who your mentors should be. Cut the right people out of your conversation. But with that said, I never had a mentor, and it's one of the biggest things that had slowed me down on my path to growth is I didn't have a person that I could like reach a couple rungs up the ladder of success and learn their wisdom. So you will want a mentor. Second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever one we're on, do shit that scares you, okay? Get scared and keep going, because you're going to put yourself in positions that will allow you to grow, because those uncomfortable situations are new situations. And for example, like when you first learned to drive, that's a great example of where you're all nerves looking at the road, and even the white lines scared you half to death. And when the road turned at first and you had to pull the steering wheel for the first time, that was nerve-wracking. But now driving becomes wallpaper. It's a skill that you've mastered, and you don't even think anything of it anymore. If you've ever learned to play an instrument, just the same. The first time you've ever sung or performed on stage, if you do stuff like that, the same thing. So uncomfortable situations equal growth. It doesn't mean danger. There's not a lion around the corner of the karaoke place that you're going to go to and you're going to sing in front of people for the first time. But our chemicals in our body like to respond to these uncomfortable situations as if you're facing a lion and it's your fight for survival. So recognize that we're in old machines that haven't evolved as fast as we have in society or mentally. So push yourself to grow by pushing yourself into uncomfortable situations. So keep growing, keep learning, do things that scare you, and then just look back and reassess and create this like habit of success, right? So a little win is a success. You set yourself a goal for the day, like I'm going to get up by this time in the morning, or I'm going to read this many pages of a book in a day, or I'm going to adjust my diet to be more healthy this way or the other, or I'm going to make more time for my family, things like this. And you set those goals, you achieve those goals, you just succeeded, right? So when I motivate sales staff, this is something that I'll do, is I'll create this ramp up to the big, audacious goals, little wins along the way. I get these teams winning little things. I'm like, hey, do this, and you get a little prize. Do this, and you get like a company lunch. And I keep incentivizing them for little things that I know that they can do, right? And inside your head, there's things that you know that you can do, so just set goals for it. But create this momentum, because you keep knocking down obstacles one at a time, and lead yourself to believe more in yourself and your ability to achieve. So when you approach your audacious goals, you have what is now a success mindset from creating a daily habit of winning, right? Because winning becomes addicting to some people. And if you're on this YouTube channel trying to become successful, then yes, you're probably addicted to winning too, because you care about your success, you care about yourself, you care about your future, and you want to get somewhere worth living. So every day, it's a new challenge. And you decide the terms of those challenges that you're going to put on your shoulders. But do something every day to grow. And make sure that you win every single day. And start looking at yourself in the mirror like a winner. And encourage yourself to get uncomfortable. And at one point, you're going to really like being in uncomfortable spots. And that is where it all starts to flip. Because the X factor of like leading society somewhere where you become like a thought leader, like on a topic like my Airbnb channel, or you build a business that nobody's ever built before, or you've solved a problem because you looked at it a way nobody else solved it, or like could look at it to solve it, is because you're not afraid to be different. You're not afraid to get uncomfortable. You start to love the adventure of discomfort, and you start to go out to places that your friends, family, coworkers, colleagues, they don't go to. And you start to do things and think things that they don't think, and thus you start to achieve things that nobody else can achieve, right? So the love of adventure, the love of discomfort leads to innovation and thought leadership. So take all that, all right? And if I'm going to give you recommendations, of course, there's a couple books that I would recommend you read. The Leadership Pipeline, it's one of the first books that actually taught me about my own failures. My first major career, perhaps only career, I was a salesperson that moved into sales management, and I failed learning to lead. That book talks about that common failure when moving into management. It also talks about like every rung of the corporate ladder and how to move up, and the skills gaps and growth gaps in your way when moving up in an organization. Another one of my favorite books is the book called Brain Steering. It talks about how to create answers or solve problems by asking your brain the right question. So if you engineer a question and ask your brain that question, your brain will be forced to give you an answer. It just can't help itself. It's a cool way to be creative and have like little mental breakthroughs. Now there are other cliche books that actually do provide value, like The 4-Hour Workweek I really like. There's Think and Grow Rich, How to Win Friends and Influence People. The Richest Man in Babylon's a good one. And you hopefully have already read all of these books. And if you haven't, then just read them. They're pretty much just like basic level self-help books. And there's going to be so much more for you to learn. learn. So as you watch this YouTube channel, you're going to see that I'm going to give you other book recommendations. You can even go back and watch some of my other videos, and I'll give you those things. And you're going to notice that I'm going to recommend people to learn from in business and in life. And the theme here is you need to be an eternal student. Constantly learn, constantly grow, become acquainted with discomfort, and learn to love it, because that is how you truly become a thought leader. And at the end of the day, success is defined by what you want to make it. So don't let anybody pull you from your path, because you are on your way to success and nobody else can tell you when you get there. So thank you for watching Airbnb Automated, and I will see you on the other side.